What's up, everybody? Caleb here, and today I'm going to again take a break from the horror genre, and I'm going to break down my Ernest collection here on VHS, DVD, and Blu Ray. I was going to do them separate, but I figured let's go ahead and do them all at the same time. If anybody out there don't know who Ernest is, you obviously didn't grow up in the 90s. The Ernest franchise was huge in the 90s. It started in the 80s. Jim Varney's character doing commercials for local stations and stuff, and milk commercials and whatnot, and blah, blah. And it eventually grew into this character, you know, and the movie series was made, and it was a pretty big hit in the 90s, and a major influence on me as a kid growing up. I watched these movies number of times over and over again. They're some of my favorites, and it's just good, clean comedy. You know, they just don't make them like this anymore today. So we're going to go through all these, talk about them, and break them down. We'll start with VHS. First off, we're going to do, this is Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Bean. This was actually the first film to feature the Ernest character, Jim Varney. Not a full-fledged Ernest movie. The character of Ernest is in it for 2 scenes, at the very beginning and at the very end. Kind of an interesting movie. It's science fiction. You got to really be in the right mood to watch it. It's kind of a lost gem, kind of like Rocky Horror Picture Show, something like that. You know, it's got its fan base. I like it. I think it's pretty good. You know, I mean, it's different. I mean, I think a lot of fans were kind of disappointed because it was kind of advertised as an Ernest film, but you know, it clearly wasn't. But you know, any movie with Jim Varney, you know, is going to be gold. You know, so. If you haven't seen this, look it up. I found this version on eBay, actually. I had to pay a little bit for it. I paid about $25 for it because it's kind of rare, and the DVDs are very rare, but I think you can watch the full movie on YouTube if you're just looking to watch it. Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam. So that was 86 is when that movie came out, and then that's when 87, this is when the Ernest franchise began. Here's Ernest Goes to Camp. I talk about Nightmare on Elm Street being my all-time favorite film series of all time, which it is. You know, I love the Nightmare on Elm Street films, but Ernest Goes to Camp, honestly, is my all-time favorite movie of all time. I love this movie. It's just, like I said, good, clean comedy. This movie will make you laugh, cry. It's just hilarious. This is just such a great movie. I remember getting this, I think I was about 7 or 8 years old. It was always rare when you found an Ernest movie on the shelf. I was always really excited. And next up we have Ernest Saves Christmas, 1988 when this movie came out. 88 or 89, I think. I can't remember if it was 88 or 89. This is a holiday classic. Definitely got to be viewed at least once or twice during the holiday season. Before there was Medea, kids, there was Ernest. Before Medea went to jail, Ernest went to jail. This one's one of my all-time favorites too. Ernest Goes to Jail. I mean, these movies got great reviews back in the day. I mean, and they were, you know, the first 5 films were in theaters. Then they went straight to the VHS. But people love this. You know, I know I did. I still do. I watch these movies continuously. And Ernest Scared Stupid. Of course, being a horror fan, you know I'm going to love this one. This one's definitely got a place in my heart. I've watched this one. I used to wear this one out. I used to rent it all the time at the video store. I wore this one out. It's definitely one of my favorites. And the one and only Ernest film I ever saw in theaters, Ernest Rides Again. I was 3 years old. Remember, Mom and Dad took me to watch it. This one's actually really good. I like it. It didn't get great reviews, and it didn't do good at the box office, but this one's actually kind of more the smarter of the films, honestly. I mean, it's got a very interesting story about the Revolutionary War and the giant cannon and Goliath and the crown jewels of England being stolen during the Revolutionary War and stashed away in this cannon. And of course, Ernest finds them. It's a very interesting storyline. I really like it. It's kind of drawn out because Ernest spends a lot of time riding the cannon, but it's good, clean fun and comedy. Like I said, you know, slapstick fun. You can't beat it. And it's got a short at the beginning of the movie. Mr. Bill Goes to Washington. It's pretty funny. After that, the rest of the films went straight to video. This is Ernest Goes to School. Originally going to be in theaters, but due to poor box office returns for Rides Again, they decided to put this one on straight to video. I love this one, though. It's great. Ernest joins the marching band in this one, and I was a band geek myself, so I grew to relate to this one. And then next we got Slam Dunk Ernest. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Definitely one of the weaker ones of the series, but I still like this one. I thought it was pretty. It has some funny moments in it. And Ernest Goes to Africa. It's a pretty funny one. And there is the tape itself. And the final Ernest film, Ernest in the Army. Alright, so that was the complete Ernest VHS collection. Now when we get to DVDs and Blu Ray, it gets kind of a little bit scattered, sort of. We'll go with the DVDs here first. We have Ernest Goes to Camp on DVD. I remember when these first came out, I was like, oh, Ernest finally made the DVD. I was so excited, you know. There's no special features at all on any of these DVDs. There's not even a theatrical trailer, so I was slightly disappointed by that. I mean, they're just plain Jane DVDs, but it's good to have them on DVD, you know, to be able to view them, you know, because you never know how long your VCRs are going to last, you know, in VHS and stuff. Ernest Saves Christmas. You know, just no special. There's nothing special about these DVDs at all. There's not even, you know, the main menus are plain Jane. You know, there's just really nothing too exciting about them. And Ernest Goes to Jail. Ernest Scared Stupid. Of course, the first 4 Ernest films being distributed by Touchstone Pictures. Of course, you know, they're going to have DVD releases. You know, it's a big Buena Vista company owning it. And after that, you know, this is when the straight to DVD ones come into play. Here's Ernest Rides Again on DVD. This one is actually very, very rare. And there's an interesting story behind this one. I found this one, not this particular version, this DVD here, but this at my local Dollar General for $3. They had this one, Slam Dunk Ernest, Ernest Goes to Africa, and Ernest in the Army. I bought Ernest in the Army that day, but I didn't buy this one because I had it on VHS and I wasn't, you know, collecting at the time. You know, it was $3 brand new. You know, years down the line, I go back to try to find it to buy it. This DVD goes for almost as close to $100 on eBay and Amazon, brand new. And I found this one on eBay for $25. I had to snatch it. I was like, oh, I gotta have this, because I mean, up to that point, the cheapest one I'd found was literally about $100. That's how rare this DVD is. I was so shocked by that. It's a Canadian edition, actually. It's a Canadian home video. I mean, it really, I don't believe had an American release until here recently, actually, on DVD. But it's region free, so it works in your DVD players. But yeah, this is definitely rare, and I'm definitely glad to have this in the collection. And after that, Ernest Goes to School was not released by itself on DVD. It wasn't released until here recently in the Ernest Greatest Hits or Wacky Adventure collection. We'll get to that. So we skip over Ernest Goes to School and go to Slam Dunk Ernest on DVD, because Ernest Goes to School does not have its own single disc DVD release. And Ernest Goes to Africa. There's some Ernest commercials on this DVD, which I thought was pretty cool. And Ernest in the Army. And rounding out the DVD collection, we have Ernest's Wacky Adventures Volumes 1 and 2. And up until this point, this was, you know, this has Ernest in the Army, Ernest Rides Again, Ernest Grace Hits 1 and Ernest Grace Hits 2. I thought this was the only way I was going to be able to get Ernest Rides Again on DVD until I got lucky on eBay finding that one. You know, I got this for $5 at Walmart, I believe. And I like it because the Ernest Grace Hits 1 and 2, it's pretty much all of Ernest's commercials. It's got bloopers. It's just great. If you're a Jim Varney fan, you've definitely got to have this in your collection. There's been a lot of these collections made over the years, like Ultimate Ernest and stuff like that, and they're just kind of sporadic and scattered, but I like these. They finally condensed them down into a good 2-volume collection, and I like these a lot. Disc 1 has the movies, Ernest in the Army and Ernest Rides Again, and Disc 2 has Grace Hits 1 and 2. And then Volume 2 has Ernest Goes to School, Ernest Goes to Africa, Slam Dunk Ernest, and Hey Vern, It's My Family album. So Ernest Goes to School has made it to DVD finally here in America, and it's as a part of this collection, which I was very happy to finally see that. And the Hey Vern, It's My Family album is great. Again, if you're a Jim Varney fan, it's a must-have. It's Ernest going, you know, through his family album, and you meet all of his colorful family throughout the years. My favorite would be his uncle, which is kind of based off the character he plays in Ernest Saves Christmas, the snake handler. It's a very funny scene. Look that up on YouTube if you get a chance. And last but not least, we have Ernest on Blu-ray. I swore that I would never ever buy a Blu-ray disc player until I saw an Ernest movie on Blu-ray. Well, I ended up getting my Blu-ray player for $20 thanks to a coupon where I work for 50% off of an order, thanks to a big thing that happened at work a while back. Won't go into detail about that, but but then I finally did. I found Ernest Goes to School, or Ernest Goes to Jail was the first Blu-ray I found of Ernest at my grocery store where I work, Kroger, and I had to snatch it up. These are the only 3 that have made it to Blu-ray. They were released separately on Blu-ray. They were released in a 3-pack, which has all 3, and then there was another one that has Goes to School and Goes to Camp and Goes to Jail by themselves in a collection. Here's Ernest Goes to Camp. I love seeing Ernest on Blu-ray. It looks fantastic. The high definition looks great. I was so glad to at least see a few of these finally make it to Blu-ray. Again, no special features, but having Ernest on Blu-ray is a special feature enough for me. And Ernest Goes to Jail. Didn't do Ernest Saves Christmas. You know, I figured they'd do at least all 4 of the Touchstone Pictures movies, but Ernest Saves Christmas hasn't made it to Blu-ray. And Ernest Scared Stupid. Alright, so that is my Ernest P. World Jim Varney VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray collection. Again, if you haven't seen any of these movies, you know, if you didn't grow up in the 90s, if you're looking for good, clean, comedy, funny movies to watch with your family, go back and look at these, because these movies are great. They don't miss a beat. You will laugh hysterically. They're just great. I can't praise these movies enough. They are some of my favorites. So thanks for watching, you guys. If you're a fan of the Ernest films too, comment below. Tell me what you think. And see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.